In today's video, we are attempting to make some Pop Tart, which is an American after-school sweet treat. And boy, was it a journey, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. Alright, now let's get started. Hey peeps, what up? What's good? Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Happy New Year! We made it, yeah. So in today's video, we're gonna start off the year really sweet. Today's we're gonna make some Pop Tart. We're gonna make some Pop Tarts, y'all. That has been on my list for a long time now. Okay, let's get started and let me show you what you need for today's video. Our ingredients we have some all-purpose flour, we have some baking powder, a little bit of white sugar, and we have frozen butter. I'm actually using margarine today, and this is the one I'm using. Okay, if you can, if you have butter, go ahead, and some very cold water. Now let's get started. Now this can be broken down into two different parts. First things first, the dough, which I'll be making myself. You can buy a puff pastry, you don't really have to go through all the stress. And the second thing is the filling. And there are different types of filling for Pop Tarts. You have strawberry jam, you have brown sugar, apple filling, and the rest. I'm going to be using some store-bought strawberry jam. Yeah, and okay, a little backstory. When I went to get this, the lady at the store was like, "Oh, you want strawberry jam?" I was like, "Yeah." I was looking at it right there. She was like, "I have a dark one," and I was like, "What?" She was like, "I have a darker one." And I was like, being the person that I am, that always love trying new things, I was like, "Oh, let me see." And she gave it to me. I raised it to the light, and it was looking bread, and I thought, okay, maybe strawberry jam, because they wrote here strawberry jam. Tell me why I go home and I open it, it's actually orange marmalade. I'm still going to use it though, it doesn't make any much of a difference. And I've had a little, because look at, it's not even red. It's like brown. It tastes okay, it's just really sweet. I'm still going to use it, it doesn't make any much of a difference, okay? I just had to tell you guys beforehand, before you, oh my god, that's a strawberry jam. Yeah, I know, okay. But this is false advertising, Blue Pearl. Yeah, this is false advertising. Okay? If you yourself for this video, don't forget to give a thumbs up down below, subscribe, and join the family. Okay? And also share the video if you have anybody you know that might actually find this kind of helpful. Alright? Let's get started. Now to our bowl, we're going to add in our flour, our baking powder, and some sugar. You can add in salt, but since I'm using margarine, which is already salty, you don't need to add in salt, but you can still add it for a nice little contrast. I'm just gonna use my hand to mix this in. That's it, basically. Now it's time for us to actually grate in our cold butter. Okay, you can slice it up into little cubes, but I decided to grate mine for evenly distribution. Oh, say when. Not as if it's cheese. So when you mix it halfway, just gonna use your second hand or a spoon or fork to just mix in the flour together with it. Oh, this is, I don't know, this is okay. Crumbling in more. It's time for us to mix this in. You can use a fork if you're scared that your hand is gonna warm it up again and starts to, spread throughout the dough. You can use a fork to crumble this up, or you can use a mixer for this. Anyone that works fine with you, okay? Now it's time for us to add in our water bit by bit so we get like a shaggy dough. Butter and water must be really cold. Not to overwork it so you don't melt down the butter in it. I'm just going to lay down some plastic wrap. You can use any nylon for this. All the same, you wrap it well and freeze it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap it and I'm going to freeze mine for about 4 hours. stick it, and yeah, I think I'll share this into two. Try to get it into a square shape. Yes. So when it's time for us to roll it out, it won't be difficult. And there you have it. I'm just gonna repeat it for the second one. And these are our dough. I know they're not equal, it does not really matter. We're gonna freeze them and check on them in the next 4 hours. Okay, let's go to the freezer. And 4 hours later, our dough is as hard as a brick. It's time for us to roll it and fold it. It will make sense very soon. We're going to make sure we flour our work surface very well, and also our rolling pin at the top of our dough so that the dough will not stick. I suggest you let the dough thaw out a little bit on the tabletop because this was so difficult to work with as it was very, very cold and my arm almost broke. Okay, just going to roll this out as thinly as possible and make sure you floor your work surface as you go because they will stick. Okay, it's time for us to fold it on itself. You're trying to create those layers that we get in a puff pastry, which in the long run was not really necessary at all. It was not really necessary. You can just roll it out the way it is, but to get those flaky layers in a puff pastry, I suggest you roll it out and fold it on itself. We have different types of food. You can search here on YouTube for it and you see different types of how to fold puff pastry. Okay, I'm going to roll our dough out and we're going to freeze it the next day. You don't really have to freeze it the next day, just freeze it to your school. But I was lazy, so I froze mine till the next day. Okay, I just tired. I had a lot I was doing on that day. Okay, now it is frozen solid. The children are. What you need for this part is some roller, some rolling pin and a pizza cutter. Make sure you always flour and flour as you roll it out because if you leave yours a little bit on the table, it's going to melt and it's going to stick to the counter. It also depends on where you are. If you're somewhere that is very cold, don't really have to worry about that. But somewhere that is very hot, please make sure you flour as you fold. Flour as you fold, okay? Now it's ready. Like I said, always move it constantly so they don't stick to the counter. Look at it. Flour as you go, okay? We're trying to get this as flat as possible. Then we're going to trim off any excess bits from our puff pastry because we're trying to get it into a long rectangle, okay? Trim off any excess bits so you get that smooth and straight line. Mine was not straight because I did not do technical drawing in school. Now it's just time for you to just measure out your dough. However you want your dough to be depends on you. How you want your pop tart to be depends on you. The length, the size, smaller, bigger. Mine was very irregular. Okay, like I said, I did not do technical drawing in school, so it was not for me. Then we have our sheet of dough. Time for us to just add this I don't know what to call it. Will I call it jelly or will I call it jam? Because like I said, it doesn't look like strawberry jam, or does it look like strawberry jam? Maybe I'm just a little bit confused because I'm for sure that is marmalade. Okay, it was a lot. Pinch off the excess, okay? Pinch off the tip of the dough so they don't really tear out. Mine did the opposite of what I'm just saying right now, okay? Pinch it off as tight as possible. And still, we are still going to use a fork to press it down so that the jam inside does not leak out. All right? Pinch it really, 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 really tight. Because these guys, whew, yeah. It's time for us to repeat for the remaining dough. I made about 9 of this. I still had some leftover dough, but I just stopped and thank God I stopped here. Okay, I'm going to use a fork and we're going to dot the puff pastry dough. This is just so it does not really puff off and go everywhere. We're trying to let some air into the dough. I suggest you should do this after you have egg coated it, like egg washed it with just 1 egg and a tablespoon and a teaspoon of water. I suggest you do this after because as I've docked it, I still use egg to cover it a little bit. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, like rubbing egg after you've already do duck, it does not really make any much of a sense because the egg is just going to cover the air you made for the dough, and it's just going to be a mess, which you'll see later on. Now it's time for us to go bake. I did mine at 200 degrees Celsius. I think I baked mine for about 8 minutes. Each oven differs, so make sure you check yours. And I don't really know how to explain it, but for some weird reason, the jam spilled out, I think out of the two first, yeah, and it was everywhere. So I had this genius idea to take it off the parchment paper. It's not like it's genius idea, it's just common sense, okay? Because if sugar hardens, what happens to it? It crystallizes and it's going to tear out our dough. So I just, decided to take them off the baking sheet and place them on my cutting board for them to, did I say cutting board? Cutting board, that's what I meant. Well, now that's out the way, it's time for us to make the third part of this assembly, which is the icing. You don't really have to. I wish I didn't because I had it without it and it was fairly okay. And please don't add vanilla when you're making yours because mine, yeah, I had it way too much and it did change the color from white to brown, and I had to struggle so much for me to get it into the right consistency and color, which I did not really get to, but whatever works, right? Now it's time for us to grab our Pop Tarts, which has cooled down, and for some reason it was still sticking to the cotton board. I really did not pay attention to any of that, okay? Just going to add Pop Tarts. Did I just say Pop Tarts? I'm going to add our icing to it. I'm going to add our icing to it, okay? I'm sorry, I just really know how to make myself laugh. Now it's time for us to add in our sprinkle, which is the fun part of this whole thing. I was just waiting on for this very moment. I just love sprinkle. You just bring color to life, Before it was looking boring and, now look at it. So beautiful in its glorious moment. For all things, okay, I really tried. I nailed the shape. I nailed the whole, toppings and all. Yeah, it was fun, really, really fun to make and really, really beautiful. I'm going to frame this and hang it on my wall. Now it's time for us to have some, just for tasting. Although I already tasted it without the icing, which I should just have stopped there without having this with extra icing on it. But for the whole full experience, we're going to have it with some icing. Now it's time for us to give this a taste test. Yeah. And before you say anything, I know it's like a couple of days later, okay, as I look this way, okay, I have been working so much, all right? Don't judge me but this was damn too sweet. Jesus. It was so sweet. I could not, oof. Yeah, girl. And the jam inside started leaking. Does this happen to everybody? Like, do yours leak? Like, no, maybe I added too much. I don't know. This was a lot, even for me as a person who loves sugar. This was a lot. Even if I would try it, I'll make so many adjustments. First things first, I would not get this jam. They cheated me. Like, they scammed me with the jam. Like, it's wrong. Okay, very wrong. But I'm glad I tried it. Hello. I'm gonna take that off my bucket list. Okay. What other fun ideas do you have for me? Like, I'm just curious. Let me know in the comment section. Okay. Thank you. And that concludes our video for this week. If you like this video, okay, just just like the video, okay, and also subscribe too if you like this kind of content. Share this video to whom you think might should find this kind of helpful, okay, and I'll see you in my next video. Don't forget to breathe, eat, and live your best life. Mwah. Bye.